Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. 300 students absent from Cambridge High. About 300 students at Cambridge High School in St. James have been unaccounted for since the start of the new school term on January 3, 2022. These students have not turned up for neither face-to-face nor online classes, Harry Hansen, principal of Cambridge, reported. We have a school population of 1,100 students, and before the pandemic, we would have about 965 to 1,040 coming to school on a regular day. We are trying to reach out to see what has happened to the other students. It is about 300 students who we are not seeing since the start of the term. It's a lot, Hansa said. But every day, we have more students coming. New students are joining every single day for the first time. There are myriad issues that are preventing the others from coming in, and we're making contact with them to see what is happening. Hansen reported that since the novel coronavirus pandemic started, the highest number of students engaged for virtual classes has been 44%. We have the issue where some phones are not working, and the most is that either they are getting themselves ready or we find that some of them would have changed location, so we have to be trying to accommodate transfer at this time to better assist them, he explained. We expected some issue because when we went on the streets throughout the period while we were on lockdown, we saw where some of our students were engaged in employment, and when we went to some homes, they would have relocated. Parents are answering calls since students are in as far as St. Mary. Living arrangements have changed. He said that the school's management was meeting with some students to see how they can get them back in school. The government has initiatives to see how we can re-engage the students. What we would have done is have uniforms material, and we're able to provide them to some students so that they can come in and so forth. So that is in the making as well. While other secondary institutions aren't seeing such a large number of students outside of school, principals have expressed that some youngsters have had to revert to virtual classes after contracting the novel coronavirus. Dwight Pennycook, principal of Wolmer's High School for Boys, reported that some of the boys have fallen ill. We have had a good turnout, but the issue is in fact that a few of the young men are reporting ill, and so are not able to come in. The turnout has been good, except for those young men who have been reported ill. We have some reports of families that have come down with COVID, and while the young men may not be showing symptoms, they are in isolation, and so that's the only reason why young men are not coming to school. We are not getting any kind of hesitancy being reported among the families that are here, Pennycook stated. He further stated that the school started orientation sessions for first formers last week, and as of Monday, they will transition more of the world school students on campus. We are gently rolling them on. While we have about 2 classes of first formers here, the other 4 classes are home doing online classes. That is how we're going to be doing it first, second and third formers, because many of them have not had any significant time here on the physical compound. By the 31st, we will start the full rotation, 3-year groups at a time, 3 on the compound and 3 online. What we did for this term is that we start with the examinations for our 5th and 6th form students, and so that is allowing us to do a gentle rolling out of our students on campus. Those 5th and 6th formers have been out since January 5th, and they come in based on examinations, he reported. At Yellows High School in St. Thomas, there has been a significant increase in the number of students that are coming out. Certainly, students that were online, students that we did not see for a long time, have returned to the classroom. So we are happy about that, as we're seeing a significant uptick in our numbers. We are keeping a close track on a couple of COVID-19 cases, and we're aware of a couple of cases that we are awaiting the results for. I know a few of our students have gone into quarantine, Principal Mark Malaberfs reported. He added, on a daily basis, we're averaging around 40% in terms of students being online, and that has gone as low as 30%. Since we have returned, we have been hovering somewhere about 70% of our students. Last week, they started to come in more and more, and we're expecting that as the weeks goes by, more and more students will come out. The principal further stressed that face-to-face teaching is always better than the online modality. The truth of the matter is that COVID really just threw us off into the deep end, so to speak, in terms of technology. As a system, not enough push was being made. Certainly, from a governmental standpoint, with COVID, it is what it is. Raymond Treasure, principal of Castle High School in St. Anne, said students are definitely coming out now for in-person learning. When you compare the numbers that came out for online versus face-to-face, more students would have turned up for face-to-face than online. Students who we didn't see for a year and a half. The truth is, a lot of students turned up when we had online class, but those who live in areas where they didn't have reliable internet, they couldn't come, or they would probably turn up for 2 classes, Treasure explained. Those who had missed online tests and exam, they are now able to participate, so we have school on rotation. From grades 7 to 10, they come in for 10 days for the month, but for grades 10 to 13, they come in every day for 20 days. Treasure reported that on a given day, at least 90% of students scheduled to be at school are present. Some parents, though, would have made the decision that they don't think it is safe, and some have been picking up the flu-like symptoms, so those students are not going to come in because of that situation. Further, he said about 2% of the school population was repeating. We wouldn't be able to do a lot if we even tried to repeat 10 students per grade level. That would be a challenge, so the most of about 5 students repeat for the grade 7 to 9 level, so about 15 students in total. It had to be chronic because it's not like we have a lot of space, and we had to put in 2 additional grades because of the social distance requirements. So in the past, where we could have had up to a class of 40, you now have to break it down to about 30. Parish of Portmore closer to reality. By Tuesday, the first concrete material of converting Portmore into Jamaica's 15th parish should be laid. That is when the House of Representatives, after some deliberations, is expected to vote on the matter before passing it on to the Senate for its own approval, perhaps mere days later. Chairman of the Joint Selected Committee to consider the proposal to establish Portmore as Jamaica's 15th parish, Dr. Andrew Waitley, reported in an interview last week that he expects a smooth flow of the process in the matter, that which was first mooted in 2003 when there was a People's National Party administration in government. We intend to close the debate on the report this Tuesday. I opened the debate last Tuesday, after which MP Fitzjackson spoke, and we hope to complete the debate this coming Tuesday, when it is expected that the Prime Minister and at least 2 members of Parliament who represent sections of Portmore, Alonzo Thorolong and Robert Miller, will also be making their contributions, Dr. Whitley remarked. I will close the debate hopefully Tuesday night and ask the Parliament to vote. That vote will give the go-ahead by the House of the establishment of Portmore as the 15th parish of Jamaica, Dr. Whitley went on. A simple majority in each house would make the move legal. It would then be sent to the Cabinet, which will prepare instructions for the creation of a bill and send it back to the Parliament for final approval. Dr. Waitley said he expects the matter of Portmore becoming Jamaica's 15th parish before the life of the extension to hold municipal elections expire, and that's by February of 2023. I anticipate that it will be done before the next local government election, which can be held any time within the next 12 months, based on the bill that was passed recently to suspend the holding of local elections. It would be best to tidy up this, in my opinion, and give the people a fresh start as the next polls. After almost 20 years, we are at a point to complete the process to give the people of Portmore full autonomy. The process was started by the People's National Party administration and will be completed by the JLP administration. It was a commitment given by former Prime Minister Bruce Golding leading up to the 2007 general election, but it was not done. The current Prime Minister made the commitment in 2020 leading up to the general election that year, and it is only fitting that this year, when we are marking our 60th anniversary of independence, that Portmore should give full independence as well, Dr. Whitley argued. Should, as Dr. Whitley expects, the matter gets passed in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, the life of the committee, comprised of members of both houses of Parliament and both sides of the political divide, would end. The other members of the committee established on November 3, 2020 are Fitz Jackson, Damian Crawford, Robert Miller, Leslie Campbell, Clifford Edward Warmington, Natalie Campbell Rodriguez, Shereen Golding Campbell, Homer Davis, J. Davis Daly, Delroy Williams, Dr. Floyd Morris, Delroy Chuck, and Alonzo Terralong, who replaced Marlene Malahoo for it. For his part, Dr. Waiter has always felt that it was natural for Portmore to become a parish based on personal and political reasons. He was the first elected councillor for the Nagahead division of the then St. Catherine Parish Council in 2003, become deputy mayor straightway by Dr. Raymond Notice, and upon the resignation of Dr. Notice 2 years later, he was thrown into the mayor's chair. While sitting as a councillor in the St. Catherine Parish Council, I had to be attending meetings of the Portmore City Municipality at the same time, so we had to go to 2 sets of meetings, General Council meetings every second Wednesday night in Portmore, and Thursday morning we had to attend the St. Catherine Parish Council meeting in Spanish Town. If you did not attend the meeting in Spanish Town, you would not be paid because you served first as councillor of the St. Catherine Parish Council, while in Portmore you are part of a city council. Quite a lot of councillors now in Portmore chair meetings in St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, Dr. Whitley stated. There are 12 councillors in the Portmore City Council, made up of 10 who won under the banner of the PNP in the last local government election, and 2 by the GLP in the larger St. Catherine Municipal Corporation. There exist 21 PNP councillors and 20 talking up for the GLP, counting those in Portmore as well. The last census over a decade ago put the population of Portmore at just over 182,000, but officials believe that the number has gone past 200,000, even near to 250,000 now, some have suggested. I recognized long ago that Portmore needs to be fully autonomous to separate itself from the rest of St. Catherine. The high level of professionalism and the educated persons living in Portmore give it a particular culture. Most of the people who work in Jamaica's public sector resides in Portmore. It has its own identity, and with the plan to build our sections like Bernal Lodge with some 20,000 houses, you want to have an area that is contagious not just to culture, but other features, and I believe that Portmore being a parish would have completed this, the Member of Parliament for St. Catherine South stated. And talk of Portmore missing amenities that 2 other cities in Jamaica have, like a hospital, is not a turn-off for the committee's chairman. Legislatively, there is no prerequisite for a hospital or a market, and if you go back to the Act of 1967 that established the current 14 parishes, all that it entails was establishing boundaries for a parish and identifying an area and call that a capital city. The capital of Kingston is Kingston. Notwithstanding that, we recognize that whether it's a parish or a town, there are certain basic amenities that must be in place to ease the burden of the people, to improve the quality of life, and so the matter of a hospital was brought up, and the Prime Minister last year gave the commitment for the building out of hospital in Portmore, Dr. Whitley argued, suggesting too that like Kingston, the capital of Portmore ought to be Portmore. Prior to that, we were told by the Minister of Health and Wellness that plans were in train to build a hospital in St. Catherine, but they did not settle on the location, although there was talk somehow, like in Old Harbour side, but the Prime Minister has not given the commitment that that hospital will be built in Portmore, said Dr. Wheatley, a biochemist by training. No site has been fingered yet, the former cabinet minister said, adding that identifying land should not be a problem, as state agencies, the Urban Development Corporation, and the National Land Agency own over 70% of land in Portmore. A lot of improvement is expected to come to Portmore, such as road infrastructure. Roads are slated to be built, and some have started in terms of dualization. You are looking at Helsher Road being dualized. George Lee Boulevard will be dualized. The process started along Port Henderson Road in the vicinity of Bridgeport leading up to Nagahead. So, dualization of these roads will ease the traffic flow within Portmore, But more importantly, the plan is to address the problem of congestion at the Caymanas intersection. Visualize a flyover at the river just before you enter the east-west toll road. You have something else that flies you over and lands you into Portmore. That has already been decided upon, and we revealed to the committee that one will be built. A budget is being put in place to do that. You would have to reduce that congestion in and out of Portmore, and people would not be forced to take the toll road. It would also support the Bernard Lodge development as well. We want to create economic activities, employment opportunities within Portmore to build our Portmore as the first smart parish on this island, Caribbean or Latin American region. Smart parish means technology becomes a critical component of the everyday lives of the people of Portmore. We need to implement e-homes, which is geared toward reducing the burden on persons having to travel from Portmore, being able to work from home, say 2 days per week, thereby reducing traffic expenses. Once you have KPIs, key performance indicators, these persons can work effectively. Once there is connectivity and infrastructure, they can stay home and work from home as well. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.